Welcome back to the studio, everyone. Today, we're going to talk about mink oil and when it's even real mink oil or if it is some sort of a faux mink oil. We're going to look at what mink oil is. We're also going to look at what are the ingredients in mink oil, so you're aware of exactly what you're putting into your leather. And then we're going to look at if those are items and ingredients that you actually want to put, into your leather. And so with that, let's dive right in. Mink oil. It's a really popular conditioner that's been used for a really long time now. And it looks like if you're buying this, you're buying mink oil. Let's take a closer look. In these ingredients, we actually see a couple different things. We see mink oil, silicone, lanolin, and Neatsfoot oil. Whoa, that is a lot of stuff in here. Looking at this, I think I'm buying a mink oil liquid. Basically, mink oil in liquid form versus a paste form or something like that. So I got curious and I wanted to look at what are those different ingredients. So the first that we have is mink oil itself. And mink oil is essentially an oil from the mink, and it is in a pure mink oil. It looks like this. And so first off, this small bottle of pure mink oil is about half an ounce and costs around $40. And this bottle of mink oil liquid is around 8 ounces and costs about $10. So if we really had pure mink oil in this bottle, this would cost around $640, which we know would not be a good business model if they're selling it for 10. So clearly there's something different. So let's look into what that is. So mink oil itself is this substance. And so what I want to do is show you each substance that we looked at in the ingredients and then see exactly what that is. So let's take a little bit up and put it in there. And so our mink oil is going to be relatively clear liquid. And so that's the first one. We'll kind of lay these out as we go. Our next ingredient that we saw is silicone. So silicone is a very common product. We see it in a lot of places. It is often derived from sand using a gas-derived method. And so it's a common product, but you start to begin to question, is this something that you want in your leather good? Depending on how vintage it is or how you want to keep it in terms of pure substances that go in it, it's really important to know, this product has silicone, which you may or may not want. So let's take a look at what silicone looks like. And there, it's another clear liquid. All right, that's number 2. Next ingredient we've got is lanolin. So let's take a look at that here. So here we've got some liquid lanolin, which would likely be part of a liquid mink oil. And the lanolin, this actually comes from the natural wax from sheep. And so far we're doing, okay. We have our natural mink oil, and we've got our natural lanolin, and then we've got our silicone, which isn't as natural as the others. Let's take a look at this. All right, so lanolin has a little bit of a darker color to it. See that there. And then our next ingredient is Neatsfoot oil. So here we've got some 100% pure Neatsfoot oil, and it's pretty transparent in terms of the wording. So let's check this out and see how it looks. All right. Cap this up. So there is our Neatsfoot oil. Has a little bit of like a brownish yellow tint to it. We've got that. So now let's see if we can arrange these. Oh, they don't roll. Perfect. So now when we're looking, those are our 4 ingredients. And as we talked about earlier, mink oil, given its price for the volume, we can be pretty sure that mink oil, even though it's listed first, is not the most volume of the substance. It doesn't make up the most of this liquid composition. So good to know those things. And essentially, this product here, when we break it down into the components, is going to be made up of these 4 items. We've got the mink oil, silicone, lanolin, and the Neatsfoot oil. And they are blended to then create, this mink oil liquid. So let's take a look at what this liquid looks like on its own. It's probably going to have some kind of a slight brown tint based on the ingredients that are listed. And if we look here, we can see, yep, it's a very slight brown tint to it. And otherwise, it's, when you spread it out, relatively clear. So that all kind of adds up. But that's what goes into it. So it's good to know because looking purely at this product itself, we may say, I'm buying, pure mink oil, but it's really not. It's a blend of several different substances, that we're seeing here. Now, is that terrible? Not necessarily. A lot of manufacturers do that. Like even here, there's another popular manufacturer of mink oil, and they call it, liquid mink oil. Again, the hugest words are mink oil, so it may lead you to believe that this is primarily, pure mink oil. And this, I think this is $10 or $12 as well. Though as we know, pure mink oil, is way more expensive, $40 for this versus $10 for this. This is definitely not all mink oil. I did look up the ingredients for this, and they are very similar to this one as well. And so they use as a blend of, lanolin, silicone, and things like that. And so across the board, like Fiebing's makes some really great products, for sure. So this is not a knock on them. It's more of an awareness of transparency that as someone working with leather goods or leather items, what you put into them may, depending on what those substances are, it may stay in those leather fibers, almost forever. And so it's really important that you know what you're putting into that leather to determine if that's what you want in there. So for example, if you didn't want silicone permanently into your leather's pores, you want to know that ahead of time, rather than kind of find out down the road or maybe never know at all. And depending on some of these, they may actually weaken the leather fibers over time. So does it mean, to never use mink oil? No. Like most things, it means, become educated, and then depending on your use, you may want these substances in there, or you may not. You may want a different product. As an example, here's another product from Saphir, and this uses mink oil in there as well. However, if you notice, they do not call it mink oil. They just call it, the Saphir, the Renovator. And so I like that because it's not claiming that it's something very specific or putting it very large on the bottle. That may be deceiving for someone, because in reality, most of us aren't going to read the ingredients that deep. This doesn't even have it on there. So you'd have to go, looking online and finding the ingredients. And so just for crafting's sake, it would be helpful that, what they're labeled is more representative, of what the products actually are. And so that way, what you're doing is going into your material as well. And so to highlight that point, we're going to have a little fun. So what if we were to make our own version of a liquid, just like mink oil liquid, and we're going to give it our own product name. So we're going to start out here with this amazing bottle of delicious fresh water. And we're going to have this amazing fresh glass of hearty, healthy, delicious milk. And we're going to try a similar approach to making our own product. So we're going to take our milk here. Let's open this bottle. We're going to put it right here. And then we're going to take our milk. Just a little bit, just a drop, right? Because imagine this was really expensive per ounce. And then we're going to put it in here. All right, we'll put a few drops in. And you can start to see that cool cloud coming down. But now that we've got plenty of that other substance in there, enough that we could say we're using it, let's put on our label. There we go. We have our very own milk liquid, and it would be about as similar to the other type. So clearly we're joking to make a point here. The idea is that, you know, when you're buying any type of an item that's going into something potentially forever, definitely keep an idea of what's in it. And so hopefully this video helps you, and it's been fun, you know, putting this together and testing it out. So if you have questions, let us know, and I hope you enjoy your next use of mink oil in whatever form it takes. And until next time, keep crafting.